another segment of Keep the Beat with Pete. I've been starting out these few segments with the playing first, and then we'll do a little talking now. So, if you looked at the previous videos, especially the part one of hi-hat independence with funk, rock, and fusion type things, we were working with quarter notes on the bell or any of our cymbals, bells, cowbells, cymbal bell, hi-hat. Now I'm playing eighth notes, straight eighth notes mostly, and we're showing how the hi-hat can work in that mode. And then, as we said later on, we'll explore some of the very common cymbal patterns that emerged in the 70s, 80s, and right up through today, influenced by world grooves or just funk at the time and so forth, and fusion beats. With the one exception that if you look back at the funk videos, we use stick control, and those cymbal patterns are going to be different, because we'll be playing, you know. So you have to go back and watch that video, but aside from that, we're really working here today mostly with 1, 2, 3, 4. Those kind of beats. Now, to really break it down, let's just go back to the basics. So if you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4. Similar to that, but basically what we used to do with the right foot, we're now using the left foot. Then we're going to alternate, and you can speed it up or slow it down, and you could use different surfaces, like the bell of the cymbal, the cowbell. So you'd have to go back and review, if you haven't watched the earlier videos, the basic funk 1 and 2, and then the use of the hi-hat part 1. This is part 2 now. But suffice to say that with some of the basic beats that we're all familiar with, if we've been playing for any length of time, substitute the hi-hat for the bass drum. And then, of course, you alternate it. And then, speaking of applications, I just want to make sure that we don't lose track of our time. So, with application, you want to start thinking about contrast. We like, in this Keep the Beat with Pete channel and creating the beat you keep, we want to set up some patterns, and then the contrast is what adds the flavor or the seasoning. Much like if you're cooking a dish, you're not just going to have all plain steak, no seasoning. Steak is great if you have a nice cut of beef, if you eat meat and all that sort of thing, but if you don't, it could be chicken, it could be fish. No seasoning, you're not going to be as wild about it. So you have your basics, and we're sticking with basics for now. but now we want contrast. So if you have patterns there. Now you're adding these contrasts, and the listener is going like, "Oh wow, that's different." So it picks up. The band will pick it up too. So when to use what? Um, if you look at any type of sports event or anything like that, say boxing, there's like 5 or 6 punches in boxing, and there's so many boxing coaches. Western boxing, versus Thai boxing, which is another whole thing, but yet it's when to use what that makes the champion versus the okay versus the not so hot. So you just don't break out something new and different and make it the dominant force, but you definitely have to know that it's there and you can use it. Now we spent a lot of time developing our left foot, so again, let's go with this thing. We're doing eighth notes on the hi-hat, the bell or the hi-hat or the cowbell or an alternate hi-hat. We're playing a lot of our basic beats. 1, 2, 3. One of our beats that was a contrasting beat way back, if you go back and review those early videos, was 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, you can keep time with your left hand, especially you match grip players. So, get the left foot going again as a substitute, or if sometimes you'll play it straight out like we did in the jazz segment. That's one way, straight ahead, playing the basic patterns. And then, of course, as we did with the funk part 2, you can start using stick control substitutions. We had like with the paradiddle. Every right would be with your right foot, and every left would be with your left hand. Well, okay, so straight ahead, substitute, and stick control substitution. So you got 3 things to take away, as we often do. Any more than that, it becomes, a little bit too much clutter. So work around this with the same process that we did with the others. You have to go back and review some of those other videos if you haven't watched those already. If you already internalized that, or you have a lot of these basic beats down, what you're really doing is, and some of you more advanced players will do this pretty quickly, is take some of your favorite beats that are with your foot, your bass drum, right foot, snare drum, and cymbal, and you're going to take that right foot and let it lay out a little bit and bring your left foot in is what you're doing. And you can go on and on and on with this. Okay? The essence of it is that we're actually taking our left foot to a level that's it's not going to be equal to our right foot. I mean, as I said, the metal players may get there one day, the real super high-end guys, but we're going to have a lot of use with this left foot in jazz, rock, funk, fusion, and we're going to be able to put it in our spice drawer when we want it and how we want it, which is extremely valuable. Create new contrasting beats to set up different fills, and also surprisingly you can work this into solos and 4-bar, 8-bar fills and so forth like that. So there you have it. This is using the hi-hat in part 2 in funk and rock and fusion. We're working with the 8th note cymbal pattern, other than when we use stick control substitutions, and you know all about that if you watch the other videos. And later on we'll talk about some of these other cymbal patterns that became popular. I recall starting in the 70s and 80s, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll work with those later on. Right now, and that's kind of our time limit for what we want to spend on this, okay? So, work that hi-hat in, play those patterns, all your favorite patterns over here. We had okay, so we had a little bit of a technical difficulty there with the closeout of this, so I'm just doing a tag-on ending. Suffice to say that we covered the hi-hat additions with using 8th note patterns on any cymbal, bell, or additional hi-hat. And we covered all the different options you have. So really what I want to do is close it out by saying, really to get the full benefit of this, you need to review, if you haven't already done so, you know, the basic videos 1 and 2 for funk, and then the second group of videos here that talks about the hi-hat substitutions, because whatever we did in those first 2 videos shows up here when we alternate, right? So we start using our hi-hat instead of our bass drum, and we go back and forth. You put all 4 of them together and you have a nice series of videos on how to create the beat you keep in a way that's going to be pretty easy to use, with some, of course, preparation, but things you can take with you and start using, if not right away, very quickly. So again, remember, keep the beat with Pete. Hit that subscribe button. If you have comments or questions, let's share them all on the comment section, and keep going forward with this, because I think you can make a lot of progress. In subsequent videos, we're going to now start talking about rolls, roughs, drags, flams, and setups, how we're going to set up all these beats that we're keeping, because in between that there are fills, rolls, setups, right? So we're going to start covering that in some subsequent videos. Alrighty, that's about it. Thanks. Peace out.